Now that Florida State has landed quarterback DJ Uiagalelei out of the portal, the Seminoles will make the college football playoff next season.
No.
Wow. I'm going no as well.
What do you got, B?
Scanning.
What do you need to scan for?
Really
I'm looking at their
hard.
schedule, dude. Because I like to cross.
We don't have an hour and a half for you to research and develop an answer.
We do.
We're all going no.
Yeah, no. You want
12 spots now.
I think we all agree. I don't think, DJ, you can throw the ball consistently enough. I don't think you can. I really don't. And I'm telling you, Miami's coming. Like they're I know that the way the year ended and what happened with Tyler Van Dyke and people like to make fun of Mario, they're going to be good enough up front. They're coming with what they're building around when you look at recruiting. I'm just telling you, not that Florida State won't have a good year, but guess what? If you're still in the ACC, which I think Florida State, this is going to take some time, even if they leave. 9-3 is not getting you in, buddy. It's not getting you in. And I want you to go over their schedule here in a second, Blaine. But if you're not going to let an undefeated ACC champion make the Final Four, you think a 9-3 Florida State is going to get that 10 spot?
Benefit of the doubt.
No, hell no. That's the precedent that was set with the ACC. That's why you got to get out. It's like the Goonies. You got to find that pirate ship. Get your ass out of the cave, dog.
Yeah, I'm saying no as well. It's even less to do with DJ Uiagalelei and more to do with how difficult it is to make the playoff, even when there's 12 spots. It's like exactly like what you said. 9-3. There's a lot of teams that go 9-3 or even 10-2 that are going to be on that bubble. Who's going to get the benefit of the doubt? DJ Uiagalelei at Clemson, he followed Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence, and he underperformed in a lot of respect. Then I go back to that Wake Forest game he had. He had like 5 touchdowns, and he looked like the guy. Then he goes to Oregon State, a team with a great defense, and at times is like, man, this guy, he's gotten it. Maybe it was a Clemson problem and not a GJ problem. Now he's going back to the ACC. I think he's going to have another good season. He'll have a good season at Florida State. I just don't know if a good season is going to be good enough to make a 12-team playoff.
I agree.
DJU is Joe Milton. You can't tell me anything.
I think he's better than Joe Milton. I think you could rely on him more consistently than Joe Milton.
Is it because, why do you think that?
This much.
Better runner? Like better?
No, I just think he's more consistent, more accurate in the intermediate game.
Okay.
If anything, to me, it's not by much.
I think I could see by a little bit. I think it's a cripple fight both ways, but I could.
So you got Georgia Tech week 1 in Ireland.
Which Georgia Tech, don't confuse that with what Georgia Tech has been.
You got Memphis week 2 at home. Then you go to Notre Dame week 3. You got Charleston Southern. You have Florida at home, at Duke, Boston College at home, the California Golden Bears at home, Clemson at home, North Carolina at home. You're at Miami and at SMU.
No,
that must not be in order.
They're not making it.
Is it?
You start out
like they always play Florida.
Yeah,
last,
I don't
right?
think. I don't know if that's all in order.
Hold on. I have Florida's right here, so let me see.
They play November 30th. That's down.
Okay, yeah. So on Florida's SEC schedule, they play Florida State November 30th. The last. Yeah. So that was just out of order, but that's their schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got to play Memphis too. You said. I'm telling you right now, fellas.
That's a tough
Memphis.
schedule.
Georgia Tech, Memphis, and Notre Dame first 3 weeks.
Memphis.
Scary team to play, man.
Next year, they may be a group of 5 to make the playoff next year.
What's the next one?
So number 2, former Arkansas quarterback KJ Jefferson will have the best season of his career under Gus Malzahn at UCF.
Yes. Yes.
I will say yes as well. Just statistically, I'll say yes.
God, how good of a year did he have 2 years ago?
It's good. It was a KJ year.
I'll say yes. Just because of the talent he's going to play.
Yeah, well, it's anytime you go from facing SEC defenses to Big 12 defenses, I think you're in a better position. But I think KJ is a perfect fit for what Gus Malzahn does.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and listen, KJ Jefferson is not Cam Newton, so do not confuse what I'm about to say. But the last humongous quarterback that was effective enough as a thrower and an oversized, effective runner that played with Gus Malzahn, it worked out pretty well in this system. Now, you look at John Reese Plumlee, who was more of a speed guy that at quarterback that could keep it, get around the edge and all that. I think KJ fits this kind of downhill zone read, power read, Q power. I think he fits it better. You're going against worse defenses in the Big 12, where I think your size advantage is going to be even more pronounced. I like what UCF returns on the offensive line. I think this is a great fit. I think this is a very smart decision by KJ Jefferson, and I think it makes UCF a whole hell of a lot.
Well, I hate to see him leave because I always think of KJ Jefferson as being an Arkansas quarterback, but
he did his time there. He put in his time.
He's a Razorback for life. I think it's going to be very interesting to watch him in a Gus Malzahn offense. It makes sense, right, for all of the reasons that you're talking about. I'll go with yes. I think he'll have his best statistical year. At least I hope he does. I like him as a person.
I do too. He was a lot of fun to interview.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago he had like 26 touchdowns, 5 picks, 2,700 yards, 700 runs.
I think he could.
That's really good.
That.
Well, it's obviously going to be easier for KJ getting out of the SEC conference, but how good is UCF going to be up front? You know, how good is their skill position players going to be? So it's going to be tough. I think if he does have a better statistical year, it'll be close.
I mean, look at the way UCF's recruiting. Look at what they're doing in the transfer portal. They got some talent around him.
You talk about defenses in the Big 12. Look at some of that are coming into the conference now. You're going to have to play Utah. Well, I don't know for a fact if they're on their schedule, but Utah is going to be in the conference now. You're going to have to play an up-and-coming Arizona team as well.
That Arizona
a lot of defensive guys are trying to get back right when you talk about like the Baylors of the world and Dave Aranda. So it'll be interesting in that conference.
See, man, what kills you when you're playing in these big-time conferences is when like the Arizonas come up.
I know.
And like bite you. Like, because you're worried about the Oklahomas and like the Georgias and stuff, but it's like all of a sudden, man, now like Georgia Tech's a problem.
And that's good.
And that's great. That's great for college football. But I mean, like you look at Boston College, what they're doing in the portal. Shout out Nino Brown. Shout out Jeff Hafley. Thought I wasn't going to talk about it.
Love it. Next one.
Number 3, Hugh Freeze should sign Liberty quarterback Kaden Salter.
Yes! Please! Yes! Please! Yes! Now!
What do I have to do to help?
No.
Sorry, Ryan.
No.
Don't start with me.
He's got his guy.
Don't start with me, David.
He's got his guy. It's a complete roster.
It's not a frost.
Thorne.
It's a freeze. Please get Kaden Salter in here to play quarterback. so I don't got to watch the boy with a Jerry curl just screw it up.
There's a lot of problems on Auburn's football team.
Is this going to happen, though?
I'm not trying to point any fingers, but that guy's the problem.
Hugh Freeze must have recruited
Kaden Salter. Perfect situation. Stylistically, fits exactly what Hugh Freeze wants to do. Obviously, he brought him from, I believe it was Tennessee to Liberty. I think Kaden Salter got kicked out of Tennessee or something like that, allegedly. And then went to Liberty. Perfect fit. Kaden Salter's got that dog in him. I think he can he can create enough to be able to get guys like Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson and, I don't know, maybe Ryan Williams, the ball in space with what Auburn returns on the offensive line. Bring in Kaden Salter. At worst, now you've created a legitimate quarterback competition, and I think Kaden Salter I think he's got more dog in him than Peyton Thorne. I just don't trust this cat. Like, I'm sorry. It's an instinct thing. It's like it's the house cat situation. Think, oh, boy's a house cat.
Love it. Next one.
Number 4, Cam Ward will change his mind and return to college.
Yes. This class is so deep, man.
No.
He's just feeling it out right now. Feeling it out, talking to his agent,
No.
you know. He's going to see that 4th round grade, maybe.
Is it a leverage play?
Is that what it is? Is it an NIL leverage
Is it a
play?
Jimmy Sexton situation?
You know, the only reason I think you could
J-Sec?
say yes is
My
just
favorite.
that there's always, like, quarterbacks in the NFL are just so in demand, always.
And like you said, this class is so loaded. I'm going to say no, though, because I feel like he got some information that went ahead and tipped the scales in his favor. I think he's a guy that on pro day, a lot of people are going to be impressed with. I think he's going to run well. I think obviously we know he has a big arm. He does a really pretty ball.
Is he ready?
Yes, I would say I think he's ready, but I think it'd be smarter, in my opinion. And again, I'm not getting the information he's getting behind the scenes, but I just don't know how you look at Caleb Williams and Michael Penix and Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, and you're like, yep, Cam Ward. Like that's the guy. But I mean, again, sometimes guys, like I thought there was a chance Carson Beck was just tired of being in school. Like sometimes guys are just tired of not doing it professionally or attempting to do it professionally.
And maybe he'll go to a really good situation because of that.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be a franchise guy day one.
I agree.
All right, next one.
Last one. With Penn State signing wide receiver Julian Fleming, Drew Aller will be a top 10 passing quarterback next year.
Well, I think this depends on what metric, because boy threw like 27 touchdowns and had 1 interception this year. It's because they never threw a pass past 8 yards. So top Top 10
How about yardage?
No.
No, he will not.
No. No, I agree. I think there's just a lot of room. There's a lot of room still to improve with Drew Aller, and it's not a good look. Like, he throws the ball better than their backup quarterback who came in. That guy's more of a running quarterback. But all of the momentum in that bowl game was created when that kid came in.
What's his deal? Is it fundamentally?
I don't
like
know.
with Drew Aller? Like I think a lot of it is feel.
He has no feel.
I
It's not
feel like he has
physical.
no feel.
I mean, I watched him rip a couple dig balls
No,
where I thought
he's Josh Allen.
That's it. You know, so it's a mental thing, which is understandable with a young guy. Again.
Well, who was the kid? Who was the kid that played? Christian Hackenberg.
Mm.
You remember Hackenberg?
Good player.
Like good player, but like but just didn't have a ton of feel. Like not just. It seemed like that he didn't have a lot of nuance as a throw. You know, you have some guys make some throws or just have feel. Maybe they don't. Some guys that have all the athletic ability and they make it. And you're like, wow. But then there's guys that are like undersized or maybe they just have incredible feel or moxie. Which is
Trace McSorley. Man. You know, you go to a Trace McSorley who's just a gamer.
Yeah,
you know?
like guys like that.
That running element is just missing for me. And you have that in that backup. I'm sorry. I know Drew Aller's a great player. I mean, he's a good player. I wouldn't say great.
I wouldn't say great player.
He makes mistakes that you just can't
make.
He does goofy stuff. They put this backup in, and I don't know if it's just a bolt of energy, but that running, I'm used to seeing Penn State had that running element at quarterback.
Well, you watch Sean Clifford
and Sean Clifford was there for 7 years, but Sean Clifford would take off.
Yeah, he would.
Would take off a lot. I watched him against Auburn in that game. Like, he would go and run.
I think Sean Clifford had 30 concussions.
He's not a good enough passer to me to say that there's not going to be any competition in this offseason. This Bo kid, Probella, whatever his name is, I mean, he's a true freshman, came in and balled. I'm just telling you, I mean, you might see a different starting quarterback for Penn State.
He looked good, but this is a big get with Julian Fleming. I mean, he was
huge.
He kind of got overshadowed a little bit just because every Buckeyes wide receiver is a top 10 pick, you know. But he was the number one wideout in his class. I still, I'm not a big fan, like you say, of being able to transfer inside the conference like this. But it's a huge get for Penn State.
Needed it.
Yeah,
needed it. I mean, even if it's just a threat. I mean, I don't think Penn State. Mike Yurichek's the new offensive coordinator. I'm interested to see how that goes. But yeah, that's a big pickup. You're not going to get worse by getting great players. Hey, everybody on YouTube, thanks for stopping by. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on, and make sure you like this video. Doesn't take a lot of effort, but it goes a long way. We appreciate it.